Story 1. Everyone already knows God of War is amazing, and everyone is already playing Red Dead Redemption 2, so Hitman 2's release was kind of drowned out. If you like games made by developers who actually care about how enjoyable their games are, Hitman 2 is for you. IO Interactive have even decided to leave in certain bugs and issues because of how fun and funny they are, and how much fans seem to enjoy them. There are no microtransactions. There is no in-game currency. All items must be unlocked by playing the game. Granted, there is time-limited content such as elusive targets, but I challenge you to find a more thrilling, anxiety-inducing gaming experience than when you have covertly assassinated someone in a building full of armed guards and the only thing standing between you and a shiny new suit reward is making it to the exit without being compromised. IO Interactive went through hell to get the game made. They were dropped by their longtime publisher Square Enix, but did everything in their power to obtain the rights for Hitman from Square Enix so they could continue to develop Hitman 2, because they love Hitman, and because they had already promised it to players. They had to lay off a lot of staff and take some shortcuts such as not animating cutscenes in order to get the game made. But they did it. IO Interactive listened to fan feedback and did away with the episodic format of the 2016 Hitman game. They brought back the weapons briefcase because fans wanted it, even though they had to rebalance the whole game to make it work. They've added tons of features and items requested by fans, and they've even designed maps based on what players have been asking for, the Whittleton Creek map being the most obvious example of a map designed purely as fan service, considering it features nearly everything suggested and requested by fans, and is named after arguably the most beloved mission of the franchise, which also takes place in a suburban neighborhood. A new life. The new one is called Another Life. Hitman 2 is a labor of love, and an example of a developer who cares more about its fans than about making money. They easily could have monetized the content in the game. The inventory screens are set up perfectly for microtransactions, but they opted to stay true to gamers. It might even be the reason Square Enix dropped them. By Hitman 2, IO Interactive deserves your money, and we need to reward their type of business model. Story 2, Yakuza 0. Awesome story, fun gameplay. A lot of games you find yourself in situations where you go, why would my character say or do that? But in Yakuza, everyone acts logically. I played it right after Horizon Zero Dawn and liked Yakuza far better. Story 3, Subnautica. It's beautiful, sometimes terrifying, and has a surprisingly great story. Edit. And apparently it's free on the Epic Games Store through the 27th. Story 4, Return of the Obra Dinn. It's a murder mystery where the game involves puzzling out what happened to the crew of a ship that turns up after being missing for years. The music could use some work, but on the whole, it's a very solid game. Edit. Wow, this became popular while I was at work. I'm ecstatic to see so many people love the game. It really deserves the praise. Story 5, Hitman 2 looks like it's going to be a sleeper hit again. It's an amazing game, but the learning curve is a bit steep for people who don't like to play the same level multiple times. However, once you figure out the mechanics, you really feel like a hitman. Story 6. I'm going to say Divinity Original Sin 2. It's a different style of game from most big titles, but is one of the most fleshed out games on the market and has a great story, fun combat, true decision-making, and phenomenal replayability. Story 7. Into the Breach came out early 2018, so I just hope people haven't forgotten about this one. It's from the developers of Faster Than Light. I personally never really got into Faster Than Light, partly because of the randomness of it all. Into the Breach is very different and has almost no random elements. Going through the game doesn't need to take too long if you go for a two-island victory, but the game is just so fun and satisfying to play. All of the different squads work completely differently, and going for those challenges to unlock more squads just works. I fell in love with some of the squads I never knew I would like because I had to try them out and get those coins. Story 8, RimWorld. No other game lets you feed people to people. Human skin hats? Check. Dramatic survival? Check. Sense of hopelessness interrupted by comedy and short, sweet success? Check. Taking those who killed your friends as prisoners and harvesting their organs like the dogs they are? Check. Mental breaks that cause your colonists to destroy the entire settlement? Check. Mods? Oh hell yeah, check. Many games let you feed people to people, apparently, but I could not think of any at the time. My top-rated comment. To the moon. Thanks everyone. Story 9. Subnautica was my game for this year. I have never been more captivated by a game in the last 5 years. Edit. For those of you asking for the fixes I have mentioned for the personal computer version, I am home now and working on posting them. I am trying to find the walkthrough I used months ago for all of you. Second edit. Still looking for how I fixed it. It was pretty simple a few months ago. Now it seems like I am finding a needle in a haystack. Also, the Subnautica subreddit is a very active and good community. Edit 3. I am really sorry, guys. I can't find the fix I was talking about. There are fixes for a lot of the issues out there. For the glitching and frame rate issues, a lot of people have reported that just changing the game to windowed mode and then changing it back again fixes a lot of the problems. Making sure your drivers are up to date fixes many of the issues too. Again, I am really sorry I can't find the specific fix I used. Edit the 4th. The fix for pop-up issues was provided by a user. Thank you. Story 10. Most of what I would consider to be my favorites for this year have already been mentioned, so I will give a shout out to a game that surprised me. It is an indie game called Crosscode. It is a 16-bit top-down action role-playing game with heavy inspiration from Link to the Past. It is just one of those games where you play it and you can feel that the developers put a lot of hard work into making the game good. I would recommend giving it a try, and since the game is written in HTML5, a demo can be played in a browser on their website. Story 11. Super edit. I have 900 hours in the game because early access exists. You at least need to check out Kensher. I am not kidding, this game took 12 years to make and was finally released a couple of weeks ago. The map is the size of the Isle of Wight. It's a real sandbox, and you can play whatever kind of game you want to play in it. Farm cactus and make rum. Set up a world-class weapon production house. Make and sell clothing, or hashish, or bandanas. Build a town. Roam around with your band of tame goats. Fight the Holy Empire. Free the slaves. Buy the slaves. Capture people and sell them as slaves. Journey through the most imaginative and gorgeous terrain I've ever seen. I have well over 900 hours in it. It's a masterpiece. Bonus trivia. There are some places in the swamps where you'll run across guys in villages selling drugs and fish, the two most common local products. It's the only game I've ever seen where walking past a non-playable character can prompt them to call out, "High on drugs? Buy some delicious fish." Edited to add. There's this thing called early access and beta versions. For anyone else who thinks I might be pretending that I've played 900 hours of a game in the last 2 weeks. Final edit. Apologies if I didn't get around to answering your question. I'm sorry, there were hundreds, and I had to turn off inbox replies because a surprising amount of people haven't heard of early access and are upset that I really like this game. Sometimes blocking isn't enough. The game's great. Check some of the fantastic replies that others have left on it. There's some good humans in this thread. Party on, dudes. Story 12. It's like a platform suspense, mystery, supernatural game. It's not difficult to play, but the story and artwork were very well done, and I couldn't put it down until I beat it. Playthrough is like 5 to 6 hours, I think. Edit. Wow, my first platinum. Or gold or silver, for that matter. Thank you, kind stranger. Story 13. 4 PC players squad and postscriptum. Squad. Heavily reliant on intercommunication between squad members and also other squad leaders. Tactical coordination is necessary. 40 versus 40 server size. Maps that span several square kilometers. Based on Unreal Engine 4. Version 12, released last month, added tanks to the already extensive list of vehicles like transport trucks, logistics trucks, armored personnel carriers, Bradleys, and mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles. Helicopters coming soon. Realistic weapons and sounds. I'm not kidding, some of the most realistic gunplay I've seen in a video game, and that's coming from someone who owns several of them. Maps that sometimes last hours. The back and forth over objectives can be tense and grueling. Makes that moment that you finally break the opposing force's hold on a point and capture it so much more satisfying. Postscriptum. Everything great about Squad, only set in World War II. Takes place during the Operation Market Garden campaign. Story 14, Kingdom Come, Deliverance. I'm still amazed that it actually happened. A mostly historically accurate, character-driven role-playing game set in medieval times with none of the Python-esque cliches, amazing graphics, and fun gameplay. One that is incredibly relaxing to play. Kingdom Come could easily have been the sort of game that would only be appealing to a niche audience because that would be the only thing a game like this normally gets right. But no, it's a great role-playing game in its own right. Honestly, it's kind of disheartening that the hype dies down already because this game definitely deserves to be talked about. Story 15. This year, I beat Chrono Trigger for the first time. I had been waiting for a few years to get an actual Super Famicom to play it. A remake of Katamari Damacy came out for the PC a couple of weeks ago, and Namco didn't tell anyone. If you didn't play it when it came out on the PlayStation 2 and have no idea what I'm talking about, stop what you're doing and go play it. There's literally nothing like it. I'm about halfway through Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance on the GameCube, emulating through Dolphin. It's Fire Emblem. If you like tactical role-playing games, you'll like it. But you've probably played Fire Emblem if you're into those games. For those who don't know, it's where Ike from Super Smash Bros. Comes from. Dusk finally came out and it's amazing. It's a first-person shooter made like it's 1996. It's super fast-paced, you carry tons of weapons, kill cultists, and use keyboards to get to places. It's really, really good, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it since Clint from Lazy Game Reviews mentioned it a few months ago. I've put a bunch of hours into Monster Hunter World since it came out in August. If you've never played a game in the Monster Hunter series, go give this a try. It's basically Monster Hunter but with good graphics and none of the nonsense. It's a bit lacking in content when compared to other games, but so far Capcom has been updating the game to get it on par with consoles. And there's an expansion coming out next year. This is probably my game of the year. It's not easy for a game to make me spend hundreds of hours on it. I usually get bored, but bashing monsters' faces with my friends is a ton of fun. Story 16, Beat Saber. Virtual reality has really come into its own in 2018, but Beat Saber scratched an itch that has persisted since the death of the rhythm music genre last generation. Imagine standing on a tower in a Tron-like world with red and blue cubes hurtling towards you to the beat of a pumping electronic dance music soundtrack. Your job is to hit them at the right time and in the right direction with the lightsabers you're holding in your hand. I initially played it on PlayStation VR, then bought an Oculus Rift so I could try the custom songs made by the modding community. It's a real workout too, especially on the harder difficulties. One of the best custom songs on the personal computer version is Believer by Imagine Dragons. Story 17, Monster Hunter World. Dark Souls and Bloodborne-like style punishing combat against giant, beautiful, unique monsters. Edit. I want to clarify a couple of things based on some of the comments. I'm saying that Monster Hunter World has Dark Souls and Bloodborne-like combat. The like means it holds similarities but isn't the same. Both are action role-playing games with a focus on tough boss fights. In both games, your moveset comes from your weapon choice as opposed to class selection, and instead of unlocking more abilities as you level up, you learn the nuances of the weapon you are using. Combat in both series is slow and measured when compared to most other action role-playing games on the market. Button mashing will get you nowhere and is completely unsatisfying. Instead, both games use a stamina-based system where timing, positioning, and countering are necessary and rewarding. Yes, I know the Monster Hunter games predate Dark Souls games. Some people seem upset that I would dare use Dark Souls to describe Monster Hunter combat because the Monster Hunter series predates Dark Souls. That's not the point. Most gamers know what Dark Souls combat is like. Monster Hunter not so much because until World it hasn't been very accessible to most gamers. This thread asked people to post their personal game recommendation of 2018. Monster Hunter World is mine. Don't be upset if it's not yours or you didn't like the game. Furthermore, most of the dislike for this game seems to come from Dark Souls fans who are disappointed this game isn't Dark Souls with a different skin, or from veterans of older Monster Hunter games whose expectations haven't been met with World or who think a few hundred hours of content isn't enough. My blanket recommendation is that people should actually learn a little bit about what they're buying before they buy it and complain it isn't what they wanted. It's not like anyone's being forced to buy it. Story 18, Dragon Quest XI. I felt as though it had flown under the radar compared to other games this year, but it really scratched my role-playing game itch I'd had for a while. Good story, fantastic graphics, and classic battle mechanics made me remember why I love this series. God of War is a very close second, though. Story 19. Dusk, if you love old-school Doom, Duke Nukem, Marathon, and even Doom 2016, then you need to pick this game up on Steam. 5 out of 5. It's a masterpiece, baby. It just came out a few days ago. It's got 3 chapters akin to how the original Doom had multiple chapters, tons of secrets, and even secret exits leading to special stages. You will not regret buying this game. I picked it up for $16.66 on Steam. Oh, and I forgot to mention it's got bunny hops and huge speedrun potential.